In today's unboxing, I take a look at the island of El Dorado. Let's take a look.
There are hobbyists among us, geniuses with the ability to play any game they want to. In 1978, a corporation known as The Interior isolated a young hobbyist named John and exploited his genius for their entertainment.
Then one day, their hobbyist ran away. Well, here we have the island of El Dorado. This is a Kickstarter that I did. I got this one when I did the Thieves expansion. So I believe this is the Kickstarter edition. It is definitely in an absolutely gorgeous box. As we can see on the back, it gives us an overview of the components, the overall game, and then of course its recommendations of 2 to 4 players with a average player time 20 minutes, ages 14 plus. Yes, and it is the Kickstarter edition. One of the things you will notice is, yes, this is a 2 to 4 players. That is because it was with the Thieves expansion, which I've already done an unboxing of, is what adds the solo aspect to this game. In the island of El Dorado, you are a brave explorer seeking to discover and control the island's 4 shrines. You'll reveal a unique and challenging landscape every single time the game is played, which will require you to adjust your strategy as you go. Managing resources and battling the other explorers, it's a tense and explosive race to control the shrines first. Well, by the sounds of it, one of the game aspects of this is the map or the island for your island of El Dorado. Sounds like it'll change as you play each time. I'm guessing there will be tiles for all the different locations that you'll probably jumble up and then lay out so you will have a different play value. That to me sounds extremely awesome, being that it in itself goes to show for replayability. Now, one thing that I will show off immediately is how much I like this box. It is not your ordinary box. It has a magnetic end right here to kind of snap and close, and it opens upward to reveal some absolutely gorgeous art right there on the inside. Here we go. So of course, opening it up, the first thing we have is our rule book. And again, we have that art that we just saw on the inside flap. We can see our different gaming components. A little bit of a pictorial there to represent the different tiles. That is kind of nice. Again, being, you know, if it tells you to look for something, it says place a water tile or something, just in case. I don't know how it's going to work, but if that is the aisle behind the idea behind it, you can easily look here and get an idea of what you're looking for. Now, additionally, it looks like these ones are 3 individual ones, so it is nice that they're actually showing those different ones again. So if you're having to go through and look for it, you know what you're doing. So I do like that. It is a smaller rule book. It definitely could have potentially been, you know, a full book, you know, and fit in here, you know, this way. But it is okay. The print is kind of small. Again, I think I would have preferred a full size rule book, slightly larger font. But the art here and everything that I'm seeing is absolutely gorgeous. Now again, here it's showing all the different components, so you can actually see things. Very nice. The objective of the game: control the 4 shrines of El Dorado before one of your opponents do. The first player to control all 4 shrines wins the game. That's kind of interesting. game principles, how to play. How to control the cave. Explorer abilities. Hardcore mode. That is very interesting. Again, just these little things like that, which is going to add replay value. So once you've played a few times, you've gotten a handle on the game type, how it's played out, to then be able to play it in a more difficult value or level is very interesting. And here we can definitely see kind of the layout, all the different tiles. So I can definitely see how the world would change each time. And then here, all of the different locations. So that's nice. Because here, you know, again, when they showed the components, they showed them all, but that's pretty small. To now here have a larger version that is nice. So up next we have some baggies. And again, it said 1 to 4 players, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. And there's actually names written on here by the looks of it. So I wonder if those are going to match characters. Yep. So each character is going to have their own bags. That's that's interesting. So I wonder what those are going to be used for. And of course, we'll look a little closer at those here in a second. Then we have the dice. Now these just look like standard D6s, where we have 2 different colors. A black with a gold inset, and then a gold with the black. And that's actually kind of gold marbled. Curved edges. That's nice. I like that. Those are nice. And I like the box already that this is coming in. Everything seems to have its, you know, its own place. Everything is set up nicely. And then here for the cards, see, again, just some of the little things. Here we have the deck of cards for the game, but it is actually in its own little deck box. That's nice. The only problem with something like this is that if you then want to sleeve your cards, you can then no longer use that deck box. And it's hard to tell. That does look a little small. You probably would not be able to put sleeve cards in its slot. Let's go ahead and take a look at our characters. It's interesting how they have different on either side. The bags definitely only had, you know, 1 name on it. Interesting. And then of course we have all of our location tiles. And this right here is another one of those simple little things. Of course, when you start getting towards the bottom, it's a little more difficult. But this little finger groove right there definitely made pulling out these location tiles easier by the looks of it. El Dorado, the cave, El Dorado. Alright, so it looks like for the most part, oh, that's interesting. There's a double-sided one. We'll put him off to the side. And all the rest of these just have the El Dorado back. And then some more cave. There we go. Let's try this so we can look at these together. Next up, more cave stuff. we go. And then our final set. Dorado. Alright. So let's go ahead and start off with the smaller set. Here we have a double-sided tile. So that's kind of interesting. This will probably be the initial tile no matter what, and it looks like it is the same on both sides. And starting positions maybe for the 4 players. Interesting. And stay back where you are. Up next we have the cave tiles. They all have that cave back. Interesting how some of them have flavor text and others do not. So some of them are going to most likely, oh, these are probably enemies that you will face. So it's letting you know how strong that enemy you're facing. That's very interesting. I like that. That's cool. And then we have our location. So I'm actually going to stop. So if I remember right, there are a bunch in here and they are all the same. So let's quickly stop, sort these guys out so we can see all the different ones a little easier. Here are all of our different location tiles sorted out so we can take a look. Up first we have the water location. Then we have the gold. This would be for producing gold. And then for producing food. And for producing wood. And then a garden tile, there's 2 of those. Produces gold, food, or wood, and wood, it says, so very interesting. Then we have the cave entrance right here. So it's got the El Dorado because it's going to be in the map somewhere. So when you pull this allows you to then go into the cave, which are all those ones we looked at first. And with this one, it is labeled as the cave exit. And finally, we have the 4 shrines. What's very cool about those is you can see it's got that gold kind of outline right there. That's very pretty. So, and we missed one. Pull you up here. Ooh. Very cool. Up next we have the meeples in the game, or all the little wooden tokens. Now it looks like there are 2 main sets of tokens. Your first are these little pyramids. Now one of the things I found was interesting is there appear to be 3 of them, but there are 4 shrines. Maybe it's because you put them out there as you take over them, and then of course, so then once you get to your 4th one, there's no need for a 4th because you take over that one, you've won the game. It stops. But I still think it's kind of weird that there's not 4. I would have assumed there would have been 4 of these. Even with that being said, about once the 4th one is collected, you kind of win the game. The game is over. These aren't wood, I don't think. Maybe they are. They have a good bit of weight. They are definitely solid. Pre-painted a little bit. These ones have a nice dark green with a black dry brush over them, and then of course the top gold. So that's very interesting right there. Now the one thing that is kind of disappointing is the wrong word, but it's a little bit of a letdown, is that they went with this dark green color, because for me that is a little too close to one of our player colors, which is this kind of lighter green. So, I mean, so definitely there's a difference here with this dark to light, but I think I would have liked if these guys were maybe purple or something. But all of the different players, which I'm assuming they're the different potential players you can have, all have their own color. So we have, you know, a white, a green, blue, brown, and red. So of course I only need to show you one of these because they are all the same. Let's go ahead and open our first set. These look like they are going to be location tokens or wooden meeples. So looks like we have some villagers, most likely. Right there. So there we can see the villagers. Probably workers maybe, for the worker placement aspect. Then maybe an idol type of one, because it looks to me, it looks like one of those Easter Island heads. And then a couple buildings. And then in the other bag, these look more on the soldier side of things. So up first we have a fortress, and then, oh, that's kind of interesting because they are different. Okay, so we have kind of a maybe a player token, and then maybe again a fighter or soldier one, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe this is so you can be boy or girl. So that'd be the boy one and the girl one. I don't know. Let's see. Let's make sure real quick. Okay, these are different. So we will go ahead and take a look at all of these as well. Because like I said, these I'm pretty sure, yeah, all of these are the same. But I'm glad I took a minute because here, these are definitely different. So let's go ahead and move that over. Take a look at the brown. So there we have his. Very interesting. And let us see if we can look at one thing really quick. Okay. So offerings is what those little head looking things are. 4 or 5 villagers. Okay, we have 2 explorers. Okay, so that's what these guys are. They're going to be our explorers. Let's see if it talks. Let's see if we can find this real quick. We won't spend a lot of time looking at this. I'm a little interested to see if it's maybe a boy or a girl. And at quick glance, I can't see that. Oh well. Alright, so here we have blue. And that was a little stuck together. But no damage appears to be done. There they are, very interesting. Let's go ahead and, because we have 2 horses right there, we can kind of compare. And actually, they both kind of look similar. And then the red. That almost looks like he's trying to do like kung fu or something. No. Up next we have our green, and they will be the final one. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. Interesting. Well, that is everything for the Island of El Dorado. I hope this unboxing has helped you determine if this is something you would be interested in yourself. Once again, just keep in mind that this was the Kickstarter edition. I don't know what changes were made between this and a retail version that you might be able to get. My best guess would be the wooden meeples would probably just be tokens, and then of course that gold etch on the shrines I bet are part of the Kickstarter exclusive bits. But overall, I definitely liked what I saw here. Everything looked very nicely made. I like the idea of that island manipulation, how every time you play it, you're going to set up that island a little differently. I definitely, what really drew me in, I passed on it at first, but then once they brought out with Thieves with a solo variant, that's what kind of then brought me into it. I'm definitely glad I did now after taking a closer look at the game, actually unboxing the initial game, being able to take a look at all of its components, everything coming in there. And once again, I hope that the unboxing has helped you determine if it is something that you would be interested in. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.